Dude, am I wearing the same? Dude. Anyway, so my first hot take on this list, and keep in mind, each take, in my opinion, is a hot take. A hot take in this video is going to be like an opinion that basically is something that a lot of people may not agree with. A lot of people may not agree with, and it may be slightly debatable because it can be personal opinion. But now, when it comes to the GGB, this is like the team battle league that we have for Pokemon Pocket. And basically, you have a team, and the team has to get to 10 wins. The first team to get to 10 wins wins the match. Now, like, I think that the format for tournaments in general needs to change. I'm not saying that GGB is the answer, but dude, we need to have multiple deck lists that can be added on Limitless, period. Like, we need to be able to submit 2 decks or 3 decks on Limitless and our opponent be able to ban one. And now we play first to win 2 matches, right? Like, we need to be able to do stuff like that, because being able to just bring one deck and you get the bad matchup, like, oh, well, that's great. A lot of skill there, right? Like, you know, oh, I just dodged my bad matchup the entire tournament and I won. So obviously this deck is good. Like, it's dumb. It's stupid, and it shouldn't work that way. And the people on Limitless, the coders and the devs, I know you have jobs. I know some of you don't work, you know, you don't like work for Limitless. You do, like, it's voluntary. But like, dude, add this, please. We're begging. We need it. And like, it's not something that's foreign. Like, we have other websites that have like similar type things. Like, you can go on other games like battle.net, and we have that feature. So like, not for Pokemon Pocket. I think it's only for Hearthstone, but still, like, you know, there's ways to implement this, and like, it's a big deal because, dude, first of all, GGB is hype. Second of all, multiple decks and banning, like, dude, now we got some strategy, right? And you know, there's no argument against it. Listen, if you can't have 3 decks, I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, maybe tournaments are not for you. If you don't have 3 decks that you can bring, maybe tournaments are just not for you, right? Maybe you should just play ladder, and that's okay. Or maybe you should just play like unranked. That's okay. Or maybe you just like can play tournaments that are not multiple decks, right? It's okay. Now, so again, it needs to be changed. It needs to be fixed. It's terrible, right? And this shouldn't even be a hot take. That's why I've got it lower on the list. But like, it is a hot take because apparently it just won't happen. It's ridiculous. Now, another hot take. All right, number 4. My 4th hot take. I'm giving you 5 today, right? My 4th hot take is that like okay, Pokemon Pocket is like, it's not a bad game, right? It's not a bad game. It's just like, it's Pokemon. So naturally, when you play Pokemon, typically, like, there's very rare instances that I interact and play a card on my opponent's turn. So like, from a complexity point of view, there's less complex interactions that can happen because I'm playing cards only on my turn. In Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm playing cards on both turns, right? Like, way more complex, and then you get into the rulings and so on. So like, as far as like complexity, like, no matter what, like, Pokemon is not as complex. Now, are there complex plays and lines of play? 100%. But the maximum complexity level for Pokemon is just not as high as Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, because you can't play cards on both players' turns in like an instant kind of way, right? In Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, you're like, you can interact in like form multiple cards on one resolution of cards, right? One chain, however you want to, one stack, whatever you want to call it, right? Anyway, so I don't think that makes the game bad. It's just like simple. It's more simple. Now there's more decision making in deck building. There's more decision making in like individual plays, but like, there is a little bit of simplicity in the way this game is. So like, my hot take is like, dude, the game is not like, it's not the most difficult game. Like, don't get me twisted, right? And obviously Magic and Pokemon, or Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh are more difficult and have their own things that they have problems with. But Pokemon Pocket specifically is just like, it's not a very complex game in terms of like comparing it to Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh, in my opinion. It is complex, and like, there are like hard plays to make, and you're going to miss plays, you're going to misplay. I'm going to misplay. But like everybody misplays, like in every game. Like it's not like everybody can be perfect, right? Like it's impossible to be perfect, right? Because you're gonna have to make objective like 50-50s and so on. So, anyways, I just think the skill level for Pokemon Pocket like is just a little bit lower, in terms of like the skill ceiling, right? Like the skill ceiling for the game, because like you can't always express your skill if you can only interact with like cards on your turn, right? And also like how you use those cards on your opponent's turn is like another level of complexity and another level of skill, and hence why Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic are more difficult and at the max ceiling level, comparatively to Pokemon. Now that doesn't mean you're not gonna have difficult games and like difficult choices in Pokemon Pocket, dude. No, the game like sometimes it's hard to solve, right? But again, like I just think that like it's limited, and we don't even have all the cards to like have the full game. Like we don't even have stadiums yet, right? So like the game is going to get more complex as we get like the rest of like what they want Pokemon Pocket to look like. But yeah, my hot take right now, again, it's just in general, like Pokemon is just like not very difficult, and like it has a hard ceiling, right? It has a hard ceiling. Once you understand, like if you understand Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh at like a high level, I think picking up Pokemon is like super easy, right? And like you're not going to be like the greatest player ever. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like understanding the game and like making optimal plays in a lot of ways gets a lot more simple because you have a little bit of a background in card games. Whereas like if you're a Pokemon player and all you've played is Pokemon and you try to go into Yu-Gi-Oh, I think you're going to have a big problem, right? And then you try to go into Magic. Like I think you can do it. Like it's not going to be like impossible to do, but I think you're going to have a harder time doing that than like somebody from Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh just like picking up Pokemon Pocket. Does that make sense? Anyways, shouldn't be a hot take, but it might be. All right, number 3. Let's get to my third hot take. I actually think that like the monetization and like the trading in Pokemon Pocket is like arguably as good as it can be without like being just 100% free for everybody. I understand we can't trade for like every full art that we want, and I understand like realistically, let me just be clear. Realistically, the only full art trainers that like have like legitimate like a case to be made for like, hey man, these should be like harder to trade for, are the time gated supporters that are full art. Like that's it, because you can just start a basic account, farm one pack, and get any full art of any other pack in like what, 2 weeks? Because you have to wait like 10, 14, 15 days to trade a card or whatever. Like that's it. So like realistically, there's no like trading market outside of like those 3 cards. And like some people view that as a very bad thing. Some people view that as a very good thing. All I'm trying to say is like the monetization, like a person playing free to play in Pokemon Pocket is 100% like doable. And it's not super crazy to do it. And it's very simple to do if you just like want to do it. But if you want to just like randomly log in and have every card, no, this game is not going to be able to do that for you, right? Like if you want to log in like once every week and like have every card, like no, play the other full fledged like Pokemon game on the client, right? But for Pokemon Pocket, you know, you do have to like, you know, do a little bit of work, right? But again, I just think that like the trading in general, like I know we can't trade like the crowns, like that sucks. But like here's what I look at it, right? When they made these trading changes, no offense, but after that I said I'm never spending money on this game again. Like realistically, like I'll never spend money on this game again unless they make changes to the trading, because like I just have no reason to ever spend money on the game now unless there's something that I want cosmetically, which is very unlikely because I just don't care. I just will never spend money on the game. And like there's so many other people that are just like me because of the changes that they made. So they took a lot of money out of their own pocket to make these changes. Now, should that have been how they started the game? Sure, maybe you can make that argument. But again, like my hot take is that the monetization and like the trading, they're not bad. It's just people want easy, people want free, people want minimal effort. And like with the current system, yeah, you do have to work a little bit. You do have to play the game a little bit. Like, sorry, boohoo, you have to play the game to like get all the rewards. I'm sorry. If playing the game is a chore, then don't play the game. Play a different game, right? Like if you don't enjoy playing the game to get the rewards or playing the game to like get the perks, then like don't do it. It's okay. And not everything has to be done. Now, if you feel like you have to do that, well, like, you know, again, like that's kind of like a you thing, right? So again, that's just personally my hot take on it. Okay, so back to the GGB, so the team league. So again, like these people like bring 2 decks per person, and like they have to win a total of 10 games. And the thing about GGB, and like this is the thing about competition and even ladder to a degree. Whenever you start adding ladder and ranked, and whenever you start adding like money in like team matches like this, people stop talking and having conversation in general forms, and I hate that. I hate that I can't go into a Discord and just like chat about cool deck ideas that are actually good and people are actually talking in good faith. I hate that. I hate that, like, if you're around some of the people in GGB, the players, not like the people that are running it, but like they have an incentive to like not say what they really think. And so like and here's the problem. These are some of the best players in the game that now like they only talk to a small circle or their team because like they have to keep things a secret for their team. And like I understand like that's gonna happen, and it happens in Magic the Gathering. It just happened literally last week at Worlds, where like each team kind of had like their own testing, and that's totally cool. But man, can I not just say that I hate it? Right? Can I not just say that I hate that we can't have out loud discussions to make every player as good as they can be, right? With the newest deck text and the newest theories and the newest game theory, right? The newest text. Why can't we share that with everybody to make the entire game better? You know what I mean? Like that's my big pet peeve, right? Like, dude, I just want to talk about cool interactions and cool decks, and like we might stumble across a tier 0 deck every now and then. We might mess around and do that. That's not the intention. We're just sitting here building decks, but like it's a possibility. And so like, you know, I hate that in the beginning of the game, we were all talking about like different decks, different techs. Like sure, somebody may be like hiding something, you know, somebody may be like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to tell anybody because I got this tournament, you know, that's coming up. But like still, for the most part, like there was discourse. And like, keep in mind, I respect it. Keep that in mind. If you tell me a deck in confidence that like I'm not going to say anything, I'm not going to say anything, right? I'm not going to say anything. Like that's the way this thing works, and that's like a cone of silence. Like that's respect, and like that's happened to me on this channel. But at the same time, I wish that in general we could all just have conversations in Discord and like still like play really, really hard when it's in these matches, right? Like it's kind of like in sports, right? I remember in sports growing up, and even as an adult, right? I would shake my opponent's hand or whatever, talk to my opponent after the game or whatever. Like sometimes you would talk to the person after the game. You'd be like, man, hey, how'd you do that? You know, hey, what were you guys doing there? And you exchanged information there, and you shared a little bit about what you guys exchanged information in competition, and it made you both better down the line, right? And at the end of the day, people were able to see that, and it made the game better. And it made players better. And sure, maybe your deck tech got out there a little bit, but it also might have gotten exposed and like refined, right? Or like you might still be one step ahead, because here's the thing about people that make new decks, and the thing about people that are really good about innovating. Even if you copy them, they're still gonna probably be better because they understand it at a different level. They built it, right? Like so it takes you maybe a little bit of time to see this niche interaction, right? But the people that made it, the people that innovated it, they're gonna have a little bit of a heads up, and then they also have a heads up on the next thing. So like, again, you're still gonna have that innovation, right? And ultimately, like, yeah, I remember back in the day on Duelist Grounds, an old Yu-Gi-Oh forum. There used to be this forum called Duelist Grounds. And if you ever posted a deck list, like immediately, you would get flamed. You could have the best deck list of all time, right? You just won Nats and posted a tournament report, and the first post is going to be like, yeah, this deck is ass. I don't know how you won. You got really lucky. Look at your matchups. Like, no matter what you posted on Duelist Grounds, like there was a 90-80% chance that like everybody was just gonna flame you, and like one or two people might say something good, but most of it's just gonna be flaming. And like that's really, really toxic. But the best players, a lot of them came from Duelist Grounds, and they were on Duelist Grounds, and they read and they posted. And like, sure, Yu-Gi-Oh players have a reputation or whatever, stereotype, but like the top players are like, on Duelist Grounds, and the best players on Duelist Grounds, like they constantly like were performing at the major events and posting their results and like posting regional results and everything. And like I say all that to say, like, I'm not saying we should be flaming everybody even when they're like posting good deck lists. My point is that like it was a community that forged greatness by being authentic about what they were posting, deck wise, right? And if I go into a tournament with a deck and it does really well, right? And then I send a direct message to somebody else. I say, hey, dude, this deck is ass. I just got really lucky. But this deck is ass. You shouldn't play it. And we know that because we tested it. But we knew that it had a good matchup. Like, that's legitimately a thing. And so, again, like, you have to be wary about tournament results and getting baited and stuff. But, like, yeah, like, dude, this is high-level stuff that not everybody's doing, right? Like, if you made it this far in the video... If you're listening to me talk about Duelist Grounds and like Pojo, like, dude, that was the thing. Pojo for Yu-Gi-Oh was like, you could post whatever deck list and people would be like, thumbs up, I love this archetype. You could post like Gravekeepers and everybody's like, yes, this is great. And like Gravekeepers is terrible. You know what I mean? So like the community that you make and the community that you build in a game is going to either push the game forward or it's going to like not push a lot of innovation. And so like, again, like I just think if you want the best Pokemon Pocket, I think sharing ideas and stuff is like the way to go personally. But I get that it's not for everybody, and I definitely understand exceptions where like you have a brand new deck for a new set and like it hasn't been revealed. Like I get it and I respect it. So whatever you tell me in confidence, hey, I'm with you. But man, I wish that we could be a little bit more vocal. And that's also why like any idea that I originally come up with, any idea that I'm like, yeah, this is what I think, I put it out there. But if it's something that your team or something, like I just respect it, But again, you look at these matchups, like, with money on the line, these are the decks that people are bringing. Espeon and DDD, this was a couple weeks ago, so that deck kind of got phased out. But you also look at how Espeon and DDD did. I think it went like 1-2 this entire matchup spread. So obviously not a great deck, but again, Suicune Greninja, Espeon and DDD. I think my bad. It might have went like 2-5. I don't know. But anyways, 2-4. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, that's my rant about GGB. And man, dude, again, like you see GGB, dude, these are the best players in tournaments. Like these are some of the best players in tournaments. And I know there's a language barrier in some of them, but like, man, dude, these people will not like share and talk out loud because like they gotta like keep things a team secret, And it's like, damn, dude, I would love to hear some of these people just have a conversation, because these people like, they're really good players, man. And they play like the best decks. So that they have like certain things to say about, oh, hey, yeah, in this matchup, this is typically what I would do. But they just don't show it with anybody but like their team and like their really close friends, The number one most hot take is that red card has always been good. Red card has always been good. Do I need to say it again? Red card has always been good. And the thing is, it just took time for people to figure out how to play it and how it was good. If you go back to my old content, I'm talking like, dude, this was like over a year ago. First month of the game, I'm talking about red card, breaking down how to use it in this video and like why there's like a misconception on it. But like to sum it up, like basically you don't know what your opponent is going to draw, period, right? But the ability to potentially disrupt them is usually a good enough reason to play it in situations where you're like trying to avoid a certain card, or you're trying to block them from a combo. And like, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, MBB, well, there wasn't rare candy, so red card wasn't as good. Hold on. You're right. However, you still could use the card with the same principles and it still fits in some decks back in Genetic Apex. Going back to day one. And sure, it may not be as good, but it is still a good card at what it does. And keep in mind, like My number one, you know what one of my big things was with red card is like, hey man, if my opponent goes turn 1 Professor Research and just passes, they end their turn with 5 cards in hand and one of their research is engraved, right? So it's already used, right? And they only have 1 basic in play. So if I red card, it's just a numbers game. I don't know what cards they have. And here's the thing. MBB, they could draw Professor Research because you gave them 3 new draws and the draw phase. They might already have it. It might already be in their hand. It doesn't matter. And the other thing is like, so what? If I red card them, they don't draw it, and then for their draw phase they draw it. Who's to say that they wouldn't have drawn it already? Or they wouldn't have drawn it, for their draw phase anyways. So like, it's just a percentage game where you're trying to disrupt. You're not always going to disrupt, but sometimes it's the only way that you can disrupt. And that was the thing all along. You could make a video about all this math and blah, 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 math. I know math, math. But like, let me tell you this math. Sometimes it's your only chance to disrupt your opponent. You have to rip it. That's why people rip red card on 3 card hands. Hello? You know what I mean? So like, it's always been good at what it does. It's just that it took time for people to figure out how to use it, when to use it, and why it's good. Okay? They were so results oriented in the beginning that it just didn't matter, right? Every time I get red carded, I always draw the card. Go look at the comments. I guarantee you there's a million comments that are saying stuff like that across every red card video. But the truth is, all along, the people that said red card was a good card were right all along. How good of a card was it? I don't know, but it's always been good at what it does, and it's always been a playable card. And I don't know why that's the hottest take on the list, but because you got to remember, most people casual, most people play the game for fun. So most people's opinions, hey, it's not going to be based in like hard like TCG, fundamentals with years and years and years of experience. But for the people that like did have that, and the people that like saw the vision and like eventually probably even changed their mind about red card, that's kind of where it goes. The last thing I'll say about red card is this. If red card was always bad, or if red card was bad before and then it became good, why were you nervous when somebody played red card on you? Right? Why were you ever nervous when somebody played red card? If red card is fundamentally a bad card, it's just a bad card in general, or back then it used to be bad, why were people scared? And the thing is, like, it's a card that can disrupt you and suddenly your opponent has time to come back, right? It buys you that extra turn. That's all it is. So until next time, I hope you guys enjoy this breakdown. I've got a few more videos that are like really, really intense. And so I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying the content, but also I hope you guys enjoy the live streams. Again, I will be live on, multiple platforms. On YouTube, you'll see me live. Pretty much free music. And then on Twitch, you'll get a different experience. It's probably the best way to explain that. But until next time, guys, I will catch you later, and